Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Keeping Up with Diamond. As you can see, the setting is a bit different today, and that's because we're going to be doing a cooking video today. Today we're going to be making some lasagna, and I'm going to be following Phillyboyjay cooking show's famous lasagna recipe. This is how I like to make my lasagnas. I'm not going to take the credit for his work. That's where I get the recipe from. So if you guys want to check that out, you can look him up on YouTube and find it yourself as well. But you guys can watch me follow the recipe today. So as you can see, I've already got my pot of water on the stove, and we're just going to turn the stove on and have that on high heat so it can start boiling, so we can add in our lasagna noodles. And yeah, I will time lapse this so you guys can see it sped up. While we wait for the water to boil, as you can see over here, we've got some ingredients like our seasonings, the actual lasagna noodles that we're going to be boiling in the water once it does boil, and also some Prego Italian sauce that we're going to use with our meat. This is not all of the ingredients, this is just some of them that I was able to lay out. Like I have the meat in the sink in a pot. But yeah, I will continue to time lapse and just show you guys how everything comes together, and occasionally I'll stop and explain some things as well. Yeah, so I actually did not end up stopping and explaining throughout the video, which is why I'm doing this voiceover. But as you can see right now, I'm just adding in all the sauce that I'm going to use. I had 3 jars of Prego, and I should have only used 2 or 1.5. I ended up using more sauce because I didn't read the instructions, which is why reading is fundamental. So if you like your lasagna to be a lot saucier, then go ahead and use more sauce. But if you like it to be normal or less saucy, use less sauce than I did. Here you can see my water's boiling because I had showed you guys that I put the water on the stove to boil in the very first clip. So it's boiling. I just added in some salt, and you're gonna see me add in a little bit of oil as well, cooking oil, just so that the noodles don't stick together when I add them in there. And that's just a little trick that my household does. And I am taking, I think it's 16 noodles if I'm not mistaken, and I'm adding them into the pot and letting the heat, the steam just do its work and make them more malleable, because you know how noodles are obviously they're solid, but you guys know what I'm saying, like it's hard and you want it to be edible. Here it's done boiling, so I'm just taking it out of the container that it was in. And dang, these clips are going by fast. But here I'm just adding in the meat, which I had, obviously you can see the ground beef, and then I'm also going to add in some sweet Italian sausage, and then I'm going to add in my onions. That's the ground beef right there. And I'm sorry for the angle. I had no idea my entire shoulder was in the camera and blocking you guys from seeing when I was adding in the meat. That is totally my fault, and I should be more aware of my space. I just thought you guys could see my hands and the pan. I had no idea I was blocking everything. It doesn't last too long, so just bear with me. Once again, I apologize. But I added in some ground beef, some sweet Italian sausage, and then you're gonna see in some more clips as I keep adding in some more ground beef, because I'm like, that's not enough. Let me just add some more in there, because I like my meat. I love to eat lasagna. I just love to eat, period. Here I'm adding in the onions, and you're gonna see me with my spatula trying to break apart the meat, because you don't want the meat to stick together. As much as, you know, it's not necessarily too much of a bad thing, but you also don't want it to clump all together, because then it's just going to be one big clump, and we want it to be dispersed throughout the entire plate when we do put it into the pan to make lasagna. So I'm just breaking it apart periodically and letting the meat brown and just letting it do its job. And we're gonna just keep watching over it, making sure that this is on high heat, at the same time making sure that it's not burning, because once that meat starts to brown, you want to move it around. So just be aware of that. I'm still moving around my meat that's browning. I completely forgot that this part was sped up, so those seasonings that I used there was black pepper, onion powder, I believe, maybe some garlic powder as well. Those are the seasonings that I tried to show, and if you guys pause it or slow it down, you might be able to see it better. So yeah, here you can see the meat is browning. That's what we want. Now I'm adding in some seasoning salt. You know, there's regular salt. There's all different types of salt, as a matter of fact. This is seasoning salt, so it's just salt with seasoning. And you can see it's not just like a regular white powdery look when it comes to normal salt. You want to add in a good amount, not too much, because we do not want heart problems and high cholesterol. We want to keep our health good, but we also want our meat to taste good, have some spice to it, you know? You want that seasoning in there, else it's just going to be bland. And who eats bland food these days? Because if you do, baby, I don't know what to tell you, but you need to step up your game. Here you can see that the meat is practically almost done, really. I'm just trying to find little uneven areas that have not been browned to the same level as other spots yet, so that's why I'm still letting it brown. I'm adding in some minced garlic, some additional seasoning, stuff like that, making sure every nook and cranny is getting evenly seasoned. Now the meat is done and I'm adding it into my sauce that I had prepared earlier. This clip here is actually very funny because my mom came into the kitchen and she saw me and she was like talking like it was her YouTube channel. She was like, "Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel." It's so funny. But she ended up telling me not to use those clips because she didn't like the way she was sounding, whatever that means. You could see her little hand there with the red that popped in there. There it goes again. That's her tasting it, telling me, "Did you add this? Did you add that?" And you're gonna see me add in some lime, some citrus, because she told me to. I normally wouldn't do that. She was like, "Oh, you should put this in there." You know, she's always trying to throw something new into some recipe that doesn't need it, but I can't say that it never doesn't taste good, so we gonna let it slide. Here I've just mixed the meat and the sauce together, and now I'm gonna start preparing the cream filling that's going to go into the lasagna. So in that bowl right there, I've already got mozzarella cheese. I'm going to be adding in some sour cream. I believe it's 8 ounces. I'm so sorry for not knowing these measurements off the top of my head, but you know, I don't know what to say. I might put them in the description down below. If I'm not feeling lazy, I'll put them in the description down below. And on the side, we've got ricotta cheese. So those are the 3 things that we're going to be mixing together to make this filling. And in Phillyboyjay's recipe, he adds in fresh spinach. I've never done it that way. The first time I was making it, I wanted to because I wanted to follow the recipe exactly how he had it. But I think we ended up just forgetting to buy the spinach. And so ever since then, I've just never added spinach. I'm not a real big spinach fan. I just make it like this, minus the spinach. But if you guys want to try it that way, and you want to follow his recipe exactly how he has it, you can add in some spinach in there or anything else. Some people add in like diced tomatoes. In our sauce, we've already got diced tomatoes, so I didn't add in anything extra there. But you know, to each its own. Is it to each its own? I don't know. You know, just make it your own. That's the thing. Everybody has a thing, so just make it your own. Here, I forgot to show you guys when I added in this butter. But that was just my mom again saying, you should add butter. And she melted some butter in the microwave and added it into the sauce. You guys don't have to do that. That's optional. I've never done that before. That was my first time doing it. Did it taste any different? Honestly, no. But it's just something that I did do. But you guys are just gonna, follow the basic steps. You want to coat the bottom of the pan with the sauce. Make sure you do it evenly. I don't know what's gonna happen if you don't do it evenly, but I just like to make sure I have even coating. And there you see me bring out the noodles that we had boiled earlier, and I'm just gonna start laying each little pasta noodle on evenly, trying to not leave any spaces, any crevices, anything like that, and just fill up all the spaces as much as I can. Now we're going to add in that filling that we had made with the mozzarella cheese, the ricotta cheese, as well as the sour cream. The first time I made this recipe, I don't know why I thought there was going to be more layers where I could add in the filling, which if you want to make more layers, you can. So I could have, but since I was following his recipe exactly how he has it, he only has one layer of this. So I didn't put all of it in there the very first time I made it. Since then, I've learned from my mistake and I just put everything within that one layer because he doesn't add it anywhere else anymore. And we really only do 2 layers of noodles because you don't want lasagna that's too thick, the same way that you don't want lasagna that's way too thin. And now I'm just adding my mozzarella cheese. I love my cheese, so you might think, whoa, why is she adding so much cheese? I go crazy with the cheese. It don't matter to me. I don't care. I will cheese that thing up. Because what's lasagna if it's not cheesy and melting in my mouth? And I have to literally fight with it to break apart that one string that doesn't want to break, if you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, it's supposed to be cheesy. Don't be light-handed, be heavy-handed. And as you can see, I added another layer of sauce, and I'm adding in some more noodles. I was low-key concerned at this point because I was like, why do I not have enough? But I had just enough, literally just enough, as you can see. So just make sure you boil enough noodles. I don't remember if it's 12 or 16 noodles that he says to boil, but depending on how much you're making, you might need more, you might need less. Once again, just make it your own. And I'm adding another layer of sauce. Here you can see that it's a little bit too much sauce. I just didn't want to waste it because you can see all that sauce left there in the in the pot. And I'm sorry for these notifications that keep going off. If I was making 2 pans of lasagna, the amount of sauce I had made would have been perfect. But I'm only making 1 pan of lasagna and I had too much sauce. Not in a good way. So just don't do what I did at this point and just use less sauce. And here I'm adding in my mozzarella cheese and cheddar cheese once again. And you can see I'm trying to cover everything up. I don't want to see no sauce. I want everything to be covered up with cheese. And then I'm going to go add some parsley flakes to the top. And once again, I am heavy-handed when it comes to this. Pop that thing in the oven. We're going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees and voila, you have your beautiful, tasty, delicious lasagna. Y'all see them edges? You see how crispy it is? Not burnt, crispy. Crispy with a K. That's how crispy it is. I don't know who's doing it like me these days. Let me know if you find out. But this is the finished product, and I hope you guys enjoyed and have a great day. Bye.